Tuscaloosa City Council now come to order. We'll have a council prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear God, bless our proceedings tonight. Give us wisdom to know what is just and the strength to do what is right. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes, voting with Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, minutes approved. Proclamation statements by the mayor and council. I will say this first, City Hall will be closed on Monday in observance of Independence Day. No garbage, trash, or recycling services provided on this day. Regular service will resume Tuesday, July 5th, and run one day behind schedule. So please contact 311 for more information. Due to our large crowd here, which we're very happy that you are here, I would like to ask the council to make a motion to go out of order. We've got a long public hearing, business revocation coming up, and this could be an extremely lengthy meeting. So I would prefer that all of you are here on behalf of autism, not have to sit through all of that. So if I have a motion from the council, I'd like to take this out of order and
Second.
let Ms. Henson speak first. Have a motion second, voting with Councilor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we are officially out of order. So if Elizabeth Henson, if you would please come forward and address your city council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Elizabeth Henson. I'm a wife to a Tuscaloosa fireman and a mother of precious twin girls, Millie and Maddie. For a few minutes of your time tonight, I'm going to speak for Millie and Maddie, but I ask that you think beyond my family. Think of the over 1,300 men and women that the city of Tuscaloosa employs. Each of those families could, and many do, experience the same difficult situation. 9 months ago, our daycare director asked to meet with me to discuss some concerns about Millie and Maddie's development. We had concerns too, but we really wanted to believe they were just late bloomers. I blamed myself and thought if I could just quickly teach them a few words, animal sounds, or how to do a simple puzzle, anything a typically developing 2-year-old can do, that I could catch them up and avoid being told something I wasn't ready to hear. I tried very hard to do just that for 3 months before finally meeting with the daycare. The women in that room reminded me that the girls are perfectly made, but they needed extra help and encouraged us to talk to our pediatrician and schedule a psych evaluation. The months that followed were a blur of appointments, phone calls, and applications that resulted in an autism diagnosis from the University of Alabama Autism Spectrum Disorders Clinic for both girls. Autism refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. The ways in which people with autism learn, think, and problem solve can range from highly skilled to severely challenged. Millie and Maddie were prescribed both occupational and speech therapy, along with applied behavioral analysis, commonly referred to as ABA therapy, to give them the best shot at a traditional life. The week Millie and Maddie began ABA therapy, we learned that the therapies they need are not covered by the city's insurance plan in any capacity. All 50 states and Washington, D.C. have laws requiring meaningful coverage for the treatment of autism. Alabama is no exception to these treatment requirements based on the Alabama's 2017 Riley-Ward Act. However, the city of Tuscaloosa claims exemption as their self-insured policy and does not provide coverage to their employees and their families. So far, my conversations with HR have focused on why you don't have to cover autism treatment. While I disagree with that determination, I'm not a lawyer. So I hope that by being here tonight, we can shift the conversation from why the city of Tuscaloosa does not have to cover autism to why the city of Tuscaloosa should. As the leaders in our community, I ask that you thoughtfully evaluate and consider that while I am here on behalf of Millie and Maddie, this is not an issue that only impacts my family or just a handful of children in our community. In 2021, the CDC reported that approximately 1 in 44 children in the U.S. is diagnosed with autism. Additionally, children along the autism spectrum experience developmental delays requiring therapies to advance their functionality in life. We are not asking you to add coverage for an obscure experimental intervention. We aren't asking for an exception or special treatment. We are asking for a standard of care recognized in the medical community. Ryan will speak more to the efficacy of ABA therapy, but here's what sticks out to me. With ABA therapy, my girls who are on the severe end of the spectrum have a 47% chance of reaching a normal IQ. Without this medically prescribed therapy, that number drops down to a single digit, 2%. I won't bore everyone here with the slideshow on financial reports. Those supplemental documents have been submitted for your review. Starting at slide 30, the documents demonstrate that the cost of adding autism coverage is typically very low, usually with no significant impact on individual premiums. Additionally, spending that low amount on early intervention can mitigate potentially costly and complex future care. Without coverage, the treatment of autism is financially devastating to the city's employees, leaving only two options: that many affected children go without any treatment, or children receive only a mere fraction of prescribed treatment. The long-term results are that these children often end up in costly special education programs or end up wards of the state. My family has high expectations for Millie and Maddie, and those high expectations must be met with a high level of support. I'll do anything I can to help my girls. I would argue the same could be said about your employees. A lot is expected of your first responders and their families, and they deserve to be met with a high level of support. Millie and Maddie are joyful, funny, and curious, and it is impossible not to smile when you are around them. They love their collection of Mr. Potato Heads, jumping, apples, and their brothers. Because of their speech delay, I haven't heard them say mommy in more than 6 months, but Maddie can count to 8 and says hi guys when she enters a room. Millie can sing Let It Go, and they can both very clearly and loudly tell me no. When we told our 3 boys about their sister's diagnosis, one said he heard that autistic kids have superpowers, and we all agreed that we can't wait to see what Millie and Maddie's superpowers are. Until then, though, they, along with every special needs child on the City of Tuscaloosa's insurance plan, need us to use our power to help them reach their full potential. Please amend the current healthcare policy to include the treatment of autism, if for no other reason than it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Ryan Robinson. I'm a board-certified licensed behavior analyst and the ABA director at the Autism Clinic at the University of Alabama. I graduated with a master's degree in applied behavior analysis from that other college in Alabama. I'll ask that you not hold that against me for the next 5 minutes.
UAB?
I abandoned the pursuit of a degree in medicine for a field that I witnessed to be equally life-changing. There are no surgeries or medications to reverse a developmental disability. There are only therapies.
Somebody said they're having a hard time hearing you. I think sometimes you just speak as directly in the mic as you can.
I'll try. Be
Okay.
still. I'm not good at that.
Is that better? Okay.
Is that better?
Okay.
Okay.
Applied behavior analysis is a science of learning and behavior. As of 2021, there are 45 systematic reviews and meta-analyses of the research for ABA, and every single one found only positive outcomes. ABA is recommended by the U.S. Surgeon General, the American Psychological Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Mayo Clinic, the U.S. Healthcare Agency for Research and Quality, the CDC, and many others. To illustrate more clearly for you, ABA, early intensive ABA, is the difference between an individual living at home with a caregiver or in a residential facility for their entire life, or attending college, having a career, living independently, and even getting married and having a family. Throughout my career, I've had the privilege of teaching children to understand and participate in activities within their homes, communities, and schools. Things such as how to speak, ride a bike, tell you what their name is, to answer a question, to do a puzzle, to follow directions, to find specific items in their environment, to clap their hands and give a high five, to chew solid food, ask for a break when they feel overwhelmed, play Wii bowling with their dad, read, try new foods, notify a caregiver when a stranger has approached them, calm themselves when they have negative emotions, describe their day, swim, label when something hurts, observe and learn from the actions of others, tolerate haircuts, ask for items they need or want, to play with a toy, to play with a friend, to be a friend, to have a conversation, to tell a joke, to calm themselves, and to engage in other alternative behaviors when they would otherwise physically harm themselves or someone else. I also spend a great deal of time teaching caregivers, educators, traditional learning peers, and other adults to understand, provide, and accommodate the needs of individuals with developmental disabilities. Last weekend, I presented a toilet training workshop to 30 families in West Alabama and one from Idaho. And in August, I'll travel to Georgia to help toilet train a 16-year-old boy. These skills are not learned in the 2 hours before bedtime, after a caregiver gets home from work, or on the weekends in between loads of laundry. They aren't simply mastered in early intervention sessions once a week or in a preschool or a daycare or a public school setting. This starts with one-on-one intensive therapy with a certified clinician, and these skills are generalized and maintained with caregiver training with a certified clinician. ABA therapy gives the children the opportunity to fully benefit from the pre-K programs that Mayor Maddox has worked so hard to fund. There are 5 licensed board-certified behavior analysts in Tuscaloosa County, and 3 of us actually work here. Every agency has a wait list. Without insurance coverage, there's no way to fund these therapies outside of a small percentage of families that can pay out of pocket. Without insurance coverage, children with autism cannot access medically necessary therapy, and providers can't set up service delivery models. Families and providers will relocate to access services, and access starts with funding. I'm leaving you today with the most poignant moment of my career. A 4-year-old little boy came to my clinic in Colorado. His family relocated from the military to receive intervention. He came to me with no functional language other than pointing and grunting, and he spent large portions of his day crying and scratching himself because he had no other way to communicate. Within 2 weeks of therapy, he was imitating multiple sounds, and his first vocal request was to say "oh" for open. His mom picked him up, and they stood by the door, and I prompted her to ask him to request to open it. He paused, cautiously said "oh," and his mother gasped in disbelief and opened the door. It was a really good day. But that's not the moment. The moment was a few days later when he learned to say another important word. Again, as they stood there ready to leave, I knelt down beside him and asked him to say it. This time he wasn't cautious. He grinned widely, looked at his mother, and said, "Mama." He was 4 years old. I witnessed a mother hear her child say "mama" for the very first time. Thank you for your time.
Hello, everyone. My voice projects a little bit louder, so I'm going to have to tone this down. My name is Scott Thomas. I am a neurologist. I currently serve as assistant professor for the College of Community Health Sciences here at the University of Alabama. I graduated residency from the University of Alabama Birmingham, as well as med school from there. I'm here tonight speaking on my own behalf, not of the university's, but also as a friend of the Hensons and other city workers, in hopes that the city will change their current stance regarding the insurance policy on autism spectrum disorders. As a neurologist, I see numerous neurologic and psychiatric diseases. Throughout my years of training and practice, I have encountered patients with autism at varying stages in life and across the breadth of autism spectrum. As Elizabeth mentioned earlier, the number of kids with autism spectrum disorder is roughly 1 in 44 in the U.S. The number of kids diagnosed with autism continues to rise while we try to find a cause and a cure. While the medical community presses on, current evidence and guidelines state the importance of early diagnosis and intervention. After all, a diagnosis of a disease is just that, unless the patient gets the appropriate therapy and treatment that he or she needs. I have seen firsthand how important it is for children with autism to receive early intervention. There was a recent article published in JAMA Pediatric that found for adults with autism, medical costs range between $13,000 to $27,000 annually. However, autism patients who had early intervention can see up to a 2/3 decrease in healthcare costs throughout their lifetime. Autism spectrum disorder patients who receive early intervention seem to do better as well with other medical comorbidities as they go throughout life. For patients with a stroke, which is typically who I see, we say time is brain, meaning the longer one waits for treatment for acute stroke, the more likely they are to have irreversible damage from the stroke, and they miss out on therapies that could have saved their life. As with so many other diseases, we know that early intervention and therapies improve outcomes. This is especially true for neurologic disease processes, particularly ones that are recognized early in childhood. During COVID, we have seen how difficult it is for physicians and other healthcare professionals to come to a consensus on almost anything. With that being said, I think you will be hard-pressed to find anyone in the healthcare field that does not believe that early intervention in autism does not work. I ask that you as City Council members come to that same conclusion. And when you do, I'm sure that you will do the right thing and begin covering autism therapies as part of your current plan offered for employees. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I don't know.
President Tyner, members of the council, my name is Justice Smith. My purpose in appearing before you this evening is to offer support for my friends and neighbors, Elizabeth and Alan Henson, and their 5 wonderful children. For the past 3 years or so, my wife and I have had the privilege of knowing and befriending the Henson family. And in my estimation, they represent the very best that this community has to offer. Here's a glimpse of what I mean. When she's not busy with her day job, Elizabeth can be found working with several charitable and philanthropic organizations around town, including serving on the executive committee for the Junior League of Tuscaloosa. Her husband, Alan, is without question one of the bravest people I've ever known. He's devoted his entire adult life to the service of others. He's completed multiple tours of duty with the United States Marine Corps, and he continues to serve his service today as a responder with Tuscaloosa Fire and Rescue. The entire family is active in the life of their church, and when I think of servant leaders, I think of this family. They give selflessly of their time and considerable talents, all for the benefit of others. But what I admire the most about them is their unquestionable and unyielding commitment to one another and to their children. Like any good parent, there is nothing they wouldn't do for their children. For them, there is no hill too high, journey too far, or challenge too daunting, which is one reason why they are here tonight. But as you've heard from Elizabeth, they are not here to advocate for policy which will benefit their family exclusively. They are here to advocate for other families and children facing similar circumstances. In fact, knowing them the way that I do, I am convinced that they would be here tonight to support other families, even if Millie and Maddie had not received their diagnoses. Now, the Hensons could probably live anywhere. They did not grow up in Tuscaloosa, but they have chosen to make it their home because, like most all of us, they recognize this community as an incredibly special place to live and raise a family. Make no mistake about it. Tuscaloosa is not a great place to live just because of its natural beauty or abundance of amenities, which of course we do have. What makes Tuscaloosa great is her people, and the Hensons are a terrific example of this. Alan has chosen a career that allows him to serve his community, protecting life, property, and the environment through fire prevention, firefighting, hazardous material mitigation, and disaster response. A sometimes dangerous job, to be sure, but a responsibility that he gladly and happily accepts. Unfortunately, due to their current lack of coverage and the anticipated out-of-pocket expenses which will be required to provide their children with the high-quality care that they need, the the Hensons may have to seek out alternative employment, potentially outside of Tuscaloosa. My point in all of this is to say this. I wonder how many other Henson families there might be who desire to live and work in Tuscaloosa, who would make lasting, positive, and meaningful contributions to the community, but are unable to do so because they face similar circumstances and financial constraints. As prevalence has increased in recent years, autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, has become a subject of significant interest. As Elizabeth noted, the CDC determines that around 2% of our nation's children fall somewhere on the autism spectrum. Odds are that you have friends or family members that are affected by ASD. While the specific cause or causes of ASD remain unclear, what is clear is that it can be treated so that individuals can overcome the most severe and disabling aspects of this condition. We've heard from medical experts tonight about how early diagnosis and treatment are critical to achieving a positive outcome for individuals with ASD. Research has plainly shown the benefits of early treatment, as well as the long-term detriments and added expense which result from delayed interventions and treatment. From what I've been told and what I've seen in the supplemental documents you've been provided, I'm led to believe that the individual and societal benefits of expanded and more inclusive coverage will far outweigh the costs. Now, we recognize that this is an incredibly complex issue, one that may not have a simple solution. What we ask, respectfully, is that as you deliberate potential policy changes for the future, that you would give this request every possible consideration. I believe we need more strong families in this community, not fewer. I believe we need more individuals with a desire to serve. And I believe that a more inclusive healthcare policy might help to not only retain high-quality civil servants, but might also make it easier to attract future generations to service-oriented careers. And what's more, I believe that an amended policy would lead to greater and improved quality of life for our community's most precious asset, our children. And so with that, we thank you for the opportunity to appear before you this evening. We thank you for your willingness to serve this community, and we're grateful for your leadership.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and at the risk of I don't want to make anyone upset, but I've got an idea, and I think the council will go along with me on this, because we do have a very long agenda tonight, and we need to move on. I would like to, Mr. Bobbitt, could you come up here and let me ask you a question? What I would like to do, and it reminds me, back in 1980, when I first came at Channel 33, I had a young woman come to me and hopeless. Her child had something called autism. That was 40 years ago. She had to go to UCLA, was the closest place that there was any help for autistic children at that time. I still keep in touch with her today. He's a functioning adult and lives on his own, and it's an amazing story. I want to make it very clear, this council was not aware of this. We were not aware of this. And if somebody on this council was, then I don't know about it. About 2 weeks ago, it was said, and I'm being very honest, that you may be getting some calls, some people that are upset that autism is not included in our city insurance. I was frankly surprised. I had not heard that. I don't believe any other councilman had heard that as well. We so appreciate you being here tonight. And what I would like to do and ask Mr. Bobbitt, the first step would be, I think, to bring this to the administration committee, which Mr. Fell is the chairman of. Any insurance issues.
And
come
we've
back
invited her to come.
and start that conversation there. And then hopefully move forward to a happy ending, because this is, again, I was taken aback. I was surprised. I did not know that at all. And I've got a pretty tough skin, but some people have really given me down the road the last week or so, and I was just trying to say, look, we didn't know. So, and that's, I'm being absolutely honest about it. So, but now we do know. So it's up to this council to decide how we want to move forward with this. So, Mr. Bobbitt, is that, as far as insurance changes and insurance policies, all that, is that the proper channels?
Bring it before the admin committee would do it.
Well,
You do have the insurance.
Can I interject? I mean, I would first
You could
like
have,
to see a recommendation coming from our staff. I mean, I don't know what's involved. So before we go,
Human Resources basically negotiates our coverage through Blue Cross Blue Shield.
so have they
And
put
we would
together
need-
an analysis and recommendation for us to
That's where
consider?
we'll start with that, Counselor
Yes.
Busby. We need to have a start, and that's the admin committee, and at that time, we can start the process for an analysis on that.
Mr. Chair,
Or it could come through the insurance litigation. I mean, it is,
Right.
there are avenues that you have as a council.
Yeah.
But again, Human Resources negotiates our contracts with Blue Cross. And I have to defer to them on basically the process on how they do that. 'Cause
Right.
I'm not familiar with how they do that.
If I
Mr.
may,
And let's be limited, because we've got a
well,
long,
and you're right, Mr.
I've made a
Mr.
recommendation.
Mr. Chair,
Like to-
as you
forward.
making a recommendation, would it also be good for us to know how many families within our staff in our city who are part of our staff, workers, administrators, their families have autism, so that we can have the data when
Absolutely, that's
will
why I'm
present it
saying,
to us?
we can't decide anything here right now. We've got to give staff time, and we got to find out how many families we feel like are involved, and then.
So can we give a timeline for that?
analysis
I know
too,
Ms.
so-
Kemp
Yeah.
is aware of all this.
She is.
And we've invited Ms. Henson to the admin council committee, which I think will be like July 19th. And really, we don't have, as much as we appreciate all this, we don't have room for everybody in the conference room. But if she can come and have a few more minutes than she had today, and I think we're all sympathetic and we all want to find out. And then we want to decide what we can do
Yeah.
as a council.
And I'll
So
add,
can we have staff present at that same moment?
sure, please. Yes, but I'm trying to keep an order here. Do I need to have, can I make a motion from the dais that we continue this, or bring this discussion to the admin committee, July 19th?
Mr. Tyner, I believe any council member can.
It's already on there.
It's already on there.
It's already on
It's
there.
on the agenda. Yeah, it's on the agenda. I requested that a couple of weeks ago.
That's right, you did. We talked
So,
about that.
Anyway, thank you all. And I'm sorry for the upset that has caused so many people, because apparently there was a lot of maybe possible misinformation out there that some of us were just being made aware of. But like I said, now we know. And y'all have a safe trip home, unless you want to stay for about a 2-hour license revocation hearing and all of that. So thank you all.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on. If everybody will, as you leave, we'll move on with clerk, agenda item comment by citizens. No, none? Okay, unfinished business.
This will order demolition of the structure at 809 34th Avenue.
Their motion?
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second.
Is that yours table?
Anybody speaking? Is Mr. Junkin here?
I believe this is the
This is the
property,
90-day.
Here-
this
yeah,
this is the
here-
property that we talked about, tabling for 90 days. So I would like to make a substitute motion that we will table this project, this ordering of demolition for 90 days.
Okay, but Mr. Junkin needs to address the council first.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is the house that was,
Yeah,
this
but
your.
we have a procedure.
Yeah.
Council. This is for the condemnation of 809 34th Avenue, condemned June 23rd, 2021. Property has 32 housing code violations.
You ain't gonna get me on
This property is in the West End Revitalization Program authorized by Mayor Maddox. The owner has been contacted and is aware of this hearing and is aware that advised if the property is condemned by the city of Tuscaloosa, the cost of demolition will be charged back to the owner. The owner is here to represent the property.
Okay, is the owner here, like to come forward, please? Give your name and address for the record.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Tracy Boney.
You pull the mic down, please, Tracy. Thank you.
All right, Tracy Boney, 18 Broadview, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35405.
Okay, we saw all the work that you've done on this, and I believe Mr. Wilson has a recommendation.
Yes, sir. Ms. Tracy, thank you so much for working diligently. I would like to, first of all, ask the council to withdraw their motion to demolish, and then I will make a motion for 90 days, right?
I think you can just make a motion.
There's a motion to table.
Oh, okay.
Now, we had to bring a
Okay.
motion to bring it to the table.
Okay.
Now then you can ask for the,
All right, so I'd like to make a motion that we would table it for 90 days, give you 90 days to continue to do the great work that you're doing.
Good job.
Second.
Thank you so much.
Thank
okay,
you.
we have a
Great
motion
job.
second to table for 90 days, voting the Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
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 Good luck.
Congratulations.
God bless
Hey,
you.
good
Thank
work,
you.
too.
And you're doing good work.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Okay, clerk?
This approves the Downtown Riverfront Overlay District
Fix it,
permit
start
for
banging
Life
this.
on Fourth at 2104 4th Street.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Ooh, I'm gonna start hitting this gavel. We got a motion and a second.
Second.
Anybody here from
I
planning?
believe this is,
We were,
This is the
we
one
were-
we talked
we
about
were-
tabling
Yes.
for, was it 6 weeks?
yes.
Motion to table for 6 weeks.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion to table for 6 weeks, voting with Councilor Wilson.
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Point of order,
table
Mr.
for
Chair.
6 weeks.
Also, we want to make the public aware that this project will be tabled for 6 weeks so that the developer might be able to get a floor plan that will be acceptable for the zoning board, planning and zoning.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Councilor Wilson. All right, clerk.
The substitute for pages 10 through 12 will revoke the business license of Motel 6 located at 4700 McFarland Boulevard East.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Mr. Woodson.
There are 4 books or 5 books up there. 2 of you will need to share. We had to get one for the clerk and one for the attorney for Motel 6. So we will promise to be relatively short compared to what you have seen in the past. And we call Brian Champion. Would you introduce yourself to the council?
Officer Philip Bryan Champion, City of Tuscaloosa Police Department.
And what do you do relative to code enforcement for the police department?
Go through and check city codes, violations from buildings, alcohol license, anything under our muni codes that we need to have inspected.
Did you receive a complaint and investigate Motel 6 at 4700 McFarland Boulevard?
Yes, sir. Around February 10th was the day we inspected it, started our inspection on it. A few weeks before that, had to get it with everybody to go. When we go do an inspection, Mr. Steins back here with the fire marshal goes with us. Mr. Steins with the Tuscaloosa Fire Department goes with us, fire marshal. I take the health department with us also to check for things that I wouldn't know about that would be a little off for me. Shernay Wells and Ms. Rhonda Williams in the back. Building inspectors from the city of Tuscaloosa also responded with us. That is Barry Junkin and Virgil Williams. And pretty much all of us that went that day.
And did you go on February the 10th?
Yes.
What did you generally find when you went on February the 10th? That you specifically look at yourself?
I'm sorry, Mr. Woodson, I experienced this last night with the ZBA. People can't hear. So that's, if people will have microphones and speak as much into the microphones as you can, please, because some people can't hear in this room and much less at home.
Can they turn the mics up?
Okay, is this a little bit better?
Yes, that's a lot better.
Okay. If you will, in the binders, if you'll go to G and E, There'll be guests and employees, and it'll say 30 on there.
Okay.
As a result of the day you went on February the 10th, how many rooms ended up being open versus closed?
Okay. Memory serves me correct, there's 128 rooms that are available for rent at Motel 6 at this point, at that point in time. But by the end of the day, when we got through with everybody that went and the other assistants from our task force, they were down to 24 rooms, I do believe. Is it 24 or 28? Parson, do you remember? 28 rooms that they were.
What were the various reasons that the rooms that were closed were closed?
Those rooms were closed due to the balconies. That'll be something that Mr. Junkin and them will be able to testify better to than I can. The balcony railings loose and the facial boards under were rotten. There were pictures that come up across a while ago. Ms. Wells and them also responded, and for the health department, some of the rooms, I heard Ms. Williams had checked. They'll be able to explain that one a little bit better for you than I can. But there was mattresses that were torn. There were toilets that had not been cleaned in the rooms. They had hose pipes coming out of the tubs. Some rooms did not have any trash taken out of them, and it had been there for several days. We also had the laundry room. The pictures for that will be with the fire department, all the stuff that was stacked around it.
Now, you assembled the books that were in front of the council,
Yes, I did.
and would you take a moment and just go through the book generally to explain to the council what's in each section?
Okay. First page is going to be the memorandum section. It'll say memo on the labeling for the section there. I'm sorry. That will be from Carly Standish, Chief Financial Officer.
And in that first section, there's a letter to Mr. Patel, and was he given at least 10 days' notice of this hearing?
Yes, he was.
And how was that done?
That will be under the public hearing. I made a phone call to Mr. Patel, asked him to meet with me, told him I had a letter from the city that he needed to deliver to him.
And was he served on May the 27th?
Yes, he was. And there'll be a copy in there that shows that he signed it on that date from me.
There are 2 licenses in this section, and the second license, the last page on this section, was obtained later. What's the difference between those 2 licenses?
Okay, we're under the business.
First section.
We've moved to going to the start of it from the memo, and then we went to the public hearing.
The last page in the table of contents section. What was the second license for?
When we checked the business back, when we started, I did the business license from May of 2019 when CT Hotels took over. They were under the name of Motel 6, and that was the way they were doing business as, the DBA for them. When we checked again with G6 Hospitality, which is the owner, the franchise for Motel 6, they were advised by November the 12th, 2021, that is where the cease and desist letter is in the back of the folder, to stop using their name. So they had to be, Mr. Prashant them had to go back and get another name for the business, so they had to get another business license with the city. And right now it is known as the Best Nights Inn. The business license that they have, though, for right now is under CT Hotels LLC. It does not list Best Night Inn as their business.
So Best Nights Inn is what you were told they're currently going as?
Yes, sir. I've been there.
As doing business as?
Yes.
And then the second section, what is that?
Which one are you?
Guest over 30 days.
Guest over 30 days. Okay. G&E 30 days. Motel 6 is not a extended stay, guests can no longer not be there for more than 30 days. When I went through and checked their registries, you'll go, one second. You'll find a letter in there about 7 pages in. It says the following is a report of the case numbers from the city of Tuscaloosa for the citations. Hold on. There were 9. Sorry, give me 1 second, please. Nine employees, sorry, they had over 9 people that had been there for more than 30 days. They had 4 or 5 employees that had been living there as part of their contract. So you made so much an hour, the rooms didn't show a cost, anything that was being paid for the room.
And were there citations issued as shown on the summary on
Yes.
City of Tuscaloosa Police Department letterhead?
Yes, sir.
How many citations were issued?
To Mr. Patel, there was 1 citation issued for no vehicle information, 1 for extended stay, and 3 for not putting anybody's names on the list of the rooms. And then we had 1 citation that was listed to Shamika Little, who is his manager. Well, when I checked again on the registry, we were trying to make contact with a lady who was staying there with her 5 children. She'd been staying there several days, but her name was not on any of the list, and she was letting her stay there and pay as she could.
So 9 citations were issued for occupancy violations or registry violations?
Yes.
And then were there some issues with employees staying there in rooms in lieu of paying as wages, basically?
From my understanding, they made a certain amount per hour, and they were given a room at a discounted rate.
All right, and were there 4 rooms being used in that manner?
Yes.
And that's also outlined in that same letter?
Yes.
Is that all the criminal violations that you investigated on that date?
For hotel registry, yes.
Any other criminal violations that you personally handled?
No, sir, not on those.
And a copy of each of the citations is in those sections?
Yes, sir.
Are those all pending?
Those are all pending for the court date.
And if you would briefly, these aren't your sections I know to testify about, if you would just go over the rest of the book that you assembled.
Okay. After the G&E part, there'll be TPD. This is our report for how many calls we had at the listed location from May of 19th to April 22nd of 2022. In here, I had 4 weapons calls, 44 drug calls, 4 burglary calls, 43 disturbance calls, 1 robbery call, 9 fraud calls, 1 prostitution call, 30 assault calls, 27 theft calls, 20 harassment calls, and 33 domestic calls, and 4 unlawful breaking and entering calls. Now, of our 30 assault calls, 2 were shooting calls that happened there, and 1 was a stabbing call. For the total calls that I have for May of 2019 to April 22nd, 2022, there are 695 calls made to Motel 6 from our police department.
Is May of 19 when the current owner took over?
Yes, sir.
How do the calls from May of 19 to February of 22 compare to the time immediately prior to this owner taking over?
I did a 6-month check from the previous owner. There was 150 calls, around 150 calls in the previous 6 months.
So did it get better or worse?
Worse.
So the new owner, it got worse when they took over?
Correct.
How does the Motel 6 property at 4700 compare to other properties around it that are similar motels?
Okay. I went back and also did check Super 8 from the same time frame, which is located right down on McFarland, within a half a mile of Motel 6. They had 260 calls in the same time frame. I checked Econo Lodge, which is a few hundred yards away. Their calls were 140 in the same time frame. Also checked Country Inn and Suites, which is directly above on the opposite side of the road on McFarland Boulevard. They had 58 calls the whole time. My total calls between the three other hotels that I checked, there was 458 calls between the three hotels compared to Motel 6, they had 695.
So how does Motel 6 compare to these other properties generally across the board?
Across the board, Motel 6 keeps a lot of our officers tied up on calls.
So is it worse?
Yes,
And considerably worse?
yes, sir.
On one of your last visit there, was there a prostitution incident? When did that occur?
Don't have the exact date in front of me on that one. That was within the last 2 weeks. We did get a call from Miss Shamika Little. They had one lady that was walking.
Is that an employee of Motel 6?
That, she is an employee of Motel 6, the manager, and she called to advise that they had one lady walking around soliciting prostitution from one of her rooms.
Did you respond on that one?
Yes, I responded out there. We made contact with her.
What did you find when?
We didn't have anybody making contact with the suspect at that time. Ms. Little just told her to go ahead and check out. It was her checkout time at around 11 when we did get out there, and the lady left the property.
Was there a woman unclothed on the balcony on one of your calls?
That was the same lady, the call we got for that. She was walking around naked on the balcony.
And this is within the last few weeks?
Yes, sir.
After they've gotten all the citations and all the meetings and letters about this hearing?
Yes, sir.
But it was the manager that called that in?
Yes, it was the manager that called it in.
Each of the other sections, that's going to be another witness, so I will ask each of the other witnesses to talk about their sections.
Mr. Woodson, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So before we leave this point, what we're looking at is asking us to revoke the business license of CT Hotels doing business as Motel 6 at 4700. Did I understand him to say that's not who holds the current license?
That's, the LLC is the same. They changed.
LLC is the same.
They took
But Best
DBA,
Nights is just-
DBA Hotel 6 was taken off. And
But
there is,
CT Hotels LLC.
that's the same LLC that
is
holds the
who
license.
we've licensed.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There'll be a copy of that business license in your folders, sir.
And we will, that's all I have for this witness, unless the council has some questions.
No.
If you would leave that book,
I will.
There.
Leave it laying right here, sir.
and we call Patrick Steins. Once you go through the pictures again, just, I think there's some. All right, would you introduce yourself to the council, please?
Yes, Patrick Steins, Fire Marshal, Tuscaloosa Fire Rescue.
All right, and did you respond also on February 10th to Motel 6?
That's correct.
And what did you find regarding your code area?
There was a numerous amount of fire code violations. They all varied in degree of severity. The vast majority of the rooms did not have working smoke alarms. The fire alarm was overdue for annual service. We had 2 rooms that had improper locking devices on the exterior of the door, so if someone was inside, they couldn't have gotten out, but they just had some extra storage and things like that in that room. Several exit lights were not illuminated. There were several emergency lights throughout the property that were not working. There was improper storage of propane in one of the buildings, and they also had one room that they converted without permit into a dwelling unit with a full domestic kitchen without any adequate fire protection. And there was numerous electrical panels that were missing their covers throughout the building.
In the section marked TFD, are there pictures of the violations as you found them?
Yes.
And would you briefly flip through those and explain what those are to the council?
So the first picture we have here from the inspection is the portable propane tank stored indoors. This is disallowed by our code for explosion hazards. If you'll notice on the next page, there's large amounts of storage stacked over head height in multiple locations. This is also not allowed by our code due to the threat of fire spread throughout the building. The next page is pictures of some of the sleeping units where the smoke alarms had either the batteries had been removed or either they'd just been taken down completely from the wall and the ceiling. You also notice that, I didn't zoom in on it, but there is a tag on the fire alarm which indicates that it was past its annual inspection date as well.
And did you have a recheck of those violations?
Yes.
What did you find on your recheck?
On the recheck, the violations had been corrected. The dwelling unit was no longer in use, and the improper storage was also corrected, and the fire alarm had its annual certification performed.
And that cleared them with you?
Yes.
All right, that's all I have for this witness.
So I have a question there also, please. If someone rents their private home as a short-term rental every year or every second year, they have to have a certification that it meets the fire hazard requirements in terms of lighting, exit. What about motels, hotels? Do they have a regular fire inspection that they have to have?
Yes, they have an annual inspection.
An annual. So at the annual one for this group, were they inspected?
Yes, they were inspected annually.
And did they
Actually,
pass?
Actually, hotels are in our third quarter of our inspection service model, which means they are done between June, July, and August. Actually, right now is when we're actually beginning our
So
hotel.
this hotel or any other one would have had one last year between June,
Yes.
July, and August?
Yes.
And the year before between?
Correct.
And how did they do?
This particular,
Right.
in the past, we've seen violations similar to this, not to the degree, where so many rooms were affected with not having working smoke alarms and things like that. But we typically do see fire alarm systems that are out of date and need to be recertified and things like that. A lot of times you'll see improper storage.
So
because of-
when we see that, are they given a by date to have it corrected?
Yes.
And is that correction checked?
Yes, they're given
And
14
so,
days.
is it, okay, so we can assume from the fact that they were still in business as of February of '22, that up through that point on an annual basis, they had met the requirements for fire safety?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Call Barry Junkin. Would you introduce, I know they know you, they see you enough, but would you go ahead and introduce yourself to the council?
Barry Junkin, Urban Development Inspections and Property Maintenance and Condemnation.
And did you also go out on February the 10th of '22 and inspect the property at 4700 McFarland Boulevard, which was at the time known as Motel 6?
Yes, sir.
And what did you find? And if you would also refer, it's the tab BIR for Building Inspections Report, which will go over Mr. Junkin's inspection. If you would look at that tab, and the first page, is that your summary?
Yes, sir.
So what did you generally find in terms of inspections and things that had to be corrected?
The balconies had sustained some serious decay from, I guess, rain intrusion. The hand railings around those balconies were extremely loose. And then in the cornice area, we determined there was a lot of rot and deterioration there, and also some damage caused by the missing downspouts on the exterior. On the rooms, those violations varied from dirty floors and dirty walls to completely dismantled units.
And was there a room or 2 or 3 rooms that were combined?
Yes, sir. There was a room right there behind the office that was, we couldn't tell if it was 3 or 4 units that had been retrofitted to be a suite.
And was that ever inspected or permitted?
No, sir. There's no record of a permit ever being pulled for that.
And so does it have a CO for use?
No, sir.
So are those rooms closed because of that?
Yes, sir.
What other rooms did you close because of balconies and the balcony danger with those rooms closed off?
Yes, sir, we closed the ones that was accessible, easily accessible to the balconies. We allowed the ones right there at the staircases because it had a little bit more structural stability, and we was able to allow those rooms to stay vacant, be occupied.
So did you close what had to be closed and let them remain the 28 rooms open?
Yes, sir.
And is what you found something that's repairable?
Yes, sir.
And has any of it been repaired yet?
No, sir, not yet.
Has anything been permitted yet?
They applied for a permit and it was approved today,
All right, and what was the permit that was applied for to accomplish?
to make repairs, shoring up, structural instabilities and, I guess, demolition to see what all is deteriorated on building number 4.
And do you mean you have to expose the, under the railings and the support structures to find out what the damage really is?
You have to expose the ceiling area underneath the balcony.
Okay.
So you can see what all is deteriorated of the balcony structure.
And what type of construction is that? Is it concrete or wood or?
It's wood structure with a concrete floor.
So, and concrete on top of wood?
Yes, sir.
And can that be fairly expensive in terms of that?
Yes, sir.
That repair? All right, and let's go through the pictures one time, and if you could go through them one at a time and explain what that is.
That is the outer band of the balconies holding and supporting the railing.
All right, next.
Same. That's the same thing. Same.
There's that ceiling you're talking about, you can see that in that picture, that would all have to be pulled down
Yes, sir.
to expose the structure
Yes.
underneath. Okay.
When it was pulled away at this point, I think Inspector Williams had went out there and took pictures, and we was able to determine that the deterioration extended further than just the ends of the floor joist.
And that's water and the age of the building.
Yes, sir.
All right, next. All right, that's the next one. All right. And these pictures that you have in there, these are all the pictures that you took that's the first section, that's the suite, where it was turned into the apartment suite in your book.
Oh.
That first grouping of about 10 pictures, is that the apartment suite?
Yes, sir.
And then what's the next grouping of pictures? It looks like the downspouts. It's like some PVC. What is the PVC?
Which part were you asking?
There's some PVC. Is that a downspout or? It's right after the picture, grouping of pictures on the suites.
You're in the second section of the hour, correct?
I'm under the BIR,
First or second one?
first BIR section.
I did not.
Yes, sir. I believe that's a makeshift downspout.
All right.
Installation of a downspout, as Barry said, it was installed by the contractor who was out there doing some fixes prior to that photo being taken.
The remaining pictures in that first section, that looks like all the balconies and better imaging of the ceilings that would have to be pulled down.
Yes, sir.
There's pictures of washers and dryers. What was the problem with those?
Need some coffee too. Is it past the PVC picture,
That's after your railing pictures.
sir?
That's after the railing pictures. You got
I
them?
think we were trying to get a shot of maybe trash and debris inside the
Okay.
laundry room.
Any violations that we haven't already talked, there's some, and they're part of the pictures, there's some showers and things that are not, do not look functional. Did you find any of that?
At the motel.
Yes, here's
Yes.
one that looks like it's got a rag hanging down on it.
We took several pictures of several bathrooms where the bathrooms were dismantled. Showers were either inoperative or broken or under repair.
What about mold?
We seen evidence of what we suspected to be mold in a few of the units, but none of the ones that we suspected were able to be occupied. You know, they had them locked up and wasn't allowing the occupants to go in there.
The second BIR section, that's all balconies, pictures of the balconies. And we've already talked about, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Anything that you haven't told us so far about your inspection?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
And other than the report, other than the permit being pulled for the balconies, has anything else occurred for the repairs?
The only thing that we were able to determine is the issues that was in the laundry rooms appeared to have been repaired.
Now, did the pool fall under your inspection, or was that health department?
We mentioned the pool.
All right, what was the problem with the pool?
It had standing stagnant water in it.
And could you be a little bit more, what did it look like when you looked at it, in other words?
That time of year, it was just dingy, you know, kind of green, but not too bad.
Okay.
Me.
All right, that's all I have for this witness. Do y'all
Mr.
have
Woodson,
questions for him?
Now, let me ask you a question, and this is not aimed at anybody. Is there any, do we have to go through this like this that's taken for every little item? Can't we just take this and put it in the record?
Yeah, he's finished, and we're gonna move faster.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
So if you're operating a hotel or motel, you pay 13% lodging tax, 14, 11 to the city and then the state. Are we going to be presented with an indication of whether that is current and how much is being paid on?
There is an audit, but it's not complete.
So we don't know if they've
Not
paid
at this time.
lodging
Until they
tax?
complete the audit, we won't know. It takes them a while to get to that. All right, that's all I have for this witness.
Thank you.
And part of the reason we do what we do is, we have to have a record in the event that we end up in circuit court. And that's the reason we go through this book.
Yeah, that's why I thought, that's why I was just asking, couldn't this not be considered the record?
And it will be introduced when we finish this, but that's how we do it a little bit more meticulously so that we have something in the event that we are in circuit court, because this happened a few times.
Okay. Just asking.
We'll call Rhonda Williams.
Good evening. My name is Rhonda Williams. I'm a senior public health environmentalist with the Tuscaloosa County Health Department.
Good
And
evening.
did you go out on February the 10th?
Yes, I did.
And you were going out to do what purpose when you went on February the 10th?
Well, we go out, when we do inspections of the hotels, we usually do a 10% of the total number of rooms, but we were going out as far as looking at construction and also sanitation issues.
All right. And when you went out on February the 10th, what did you find on your inspection?
Well, there were a number, well, we end up checking a total of 48 rooms that I looked at, and there were a number of violations as far as construction. Some rooms had smoke detectors that were not available. Some rooms had mold on the walls, the windows, there were holes in the ceilings, the carpets were saturated. It needed repair in the ceilings and walls. Mattresses were damaged, needed replacing. And there were just some that were blocked off that were not in use because they were in just bad shape with mold. Then we had a couple of doors that were locked, and one of them had a dog in it. And then there were several people, I guess employees, that were living there as well.
If you would look at the Health Department report section tabbed HDR, and then go in a couple of pages to the pictures. And I think, did you take those pictures?
No, my coworker, Shanae Wells, took
Okay.
those pictures.
All right, I'll just ask her about those when she comes up. So did you have to close any rooms that day?
No, most of the ones that were really bad, they were already closed. So I didn't personally have to close any.
And did you give them a report of things that needed to be corrected?
Yes, that's the chart that's in the section for the health department.
And that's the report. This is the beginning of the section tabbed HDR.
Yes,
And what has been corrected, or is that going to be Ms. Wells?
yes, that'd be Ms.
I'll ask her that question. And I think y'all are both here today because I think she was out the day you went. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Let me call, unless you have any questions, I'll call Ms. Wells to conclude. Ms. Wells normally goes, but she was out, and that's why Ms. Williams went that day. So we call Charnay Wells.
That's fine. Thank you, Ms. Ron.
Hello, my name is Shanae Wells. I'm a public health environmentalist for the Tuscaloosa County Health Department.
And what day did you go out, Ms. Wells?
I went out on 4/19/22.
And was that a recheck?
There was a recheck.
And what did you find on the recheck?
Pretty much I found the same things that Ms. Williams found during her inspections. Pretty much stained tubs, damaged mattresses, even found dead insects. But most of the rooms that we did check that particular day, they were already closed.
Already closed rooms, okay. So is this typical of what you see on an inspection?
Typical.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular hotel
Is this typical of what you would see on an inspection?
No,
And how does it compare to what you typically see? Is it better or worse?
worse,
How much worse?
way worse,
All right, is it at the bottom?
at the bottom.
Okay, it's at the bottom. All right, and it hasn't been corrected.
No, because it's under the ownership is CT Hotels. As of today, they haven't submitted any paperwork as it pertains to Best Nights Inn.
Okay. All right, that's all I have for this witness.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wells.
Call Brent Blankley. And would you introduce yourself? I know they know you, but.
Yeah, Brent Blankley, Chief of Police, Tuscaloosa Police Department.
And Chief Blankley, have you had an opportunity to review all the materials that have been submitted today?
Yes, sir, I have.
And have you talked to Officer Champion and other people that went out that day?
Yes, sir, I have.
And if you're familiar with the criminal history of the Motel 6 as it operated during that 2-year period?
Yes, sir, I have.
And do you have a recommendation to the council regarding the license?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what is that recommendation?
My recommendation is to pull that business license. As a patrol officer, there's 2 hotels that you know you're going to go to before the weekend's up. Master's Economy and Motel 6. Master's Economy is no more. We're asking for you to pull Motel 6. It is a hindrance to the city. It is a haven for crime. And you can look at the crime stats from across the street and down the hill and realize it's not the area, it's the hotel.
Right.
I know in pre-council, we heard that they want to dump $500,000 or $600,000 on this property. They should have done it 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they bought the property. They haven't done it until we try to start to close them down. My recommendation is if you want the city to be as clean as possible and as safe as possible, as you revoke that business license.
Were there any security protections on the property?
I'm unaware.
What about lighting? Was it good or bad?
I know from doing narcotic details out there, the lighting around the pool and everything was very, very dark.
And did they ever utilize off-duty law enforcement employment for security?
No, sir.
Anything else that would be required that I haven't asked you about regarding what was missing from a safety standpoint?
No, sir.
And their rents were rather low. How does that impact what took place?
I believe, their low rent does affect, people can stay there very cheaply. So across the street, rent is higher, so you have more people coming in and going. We have a big homeless problem that was right below their camp as well. They would get room for a couple nights and go back and stay by the creek, so.
And was the homeless camp actually on their property?
I'm unaware where the property lines actually are.
But it was right back toward that creek?
Yes, sir, backed up right off the other side of the parking lot.
And are you aware of a city crew that had to go and clean all that up?
Yes, sir.
And are you aware that the motel was sent the bill for that?
I don't know about
Okay.
the admin procedures on that.
All right, that's all I have for Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank
And
you.
at this time, I introduce the book that we've been talking about, just simply marked Motel 6 on the cover. Each of you have a copy of, and the clerk has a copy of. And I request that the clerk copy be made a part of the record.
Mr. Chair, do I need to make a motion that becomes a part of the record?
I think, does he have to,
If you would say so moved, it would be fine.
that's all we have to do then? Okay, we have a motion, have a second,
Second.
okay? But we need to vote now.
Hey, if you want to, that's fine.
Okay, voting with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Yes. That's what I was asking. Did we?
We voting on part of the record, right?
Oh, you're presiding.
No,
over-
voting to put this in the record.
You're presiding over the hearing. You can just say admitted. That's all we need.
Right. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's admitted.
Okay, it's admitted. All right,
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
No, your vote's not up yet, but it'll be in a second.
No, they're not voting on it. Okay.
You coming?
No, I appreciate that comment, Council.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's an opportunity to due process, right? You're welcome.
We actually were voting on putting this into the records. So, right. So I say your vote's not up yet. We gotta wait till you present, and then we'll vote on you.
I'm sure you will.
Absolutely.
And we rest at this time.
Absolutely. What we doing?
Okay, so we call the defense. Okay? Mr. Parsons?
Right?
Yes, sir.
You can have. I didn't know this was a criminal proceeding, although.
That's how they turn into, though.
Let me introduce myself. I think most of you know who I am. I was before you today. Pre-council, I'm Cam Parsons. I live here in Tuscaloosa at 1804 4th Street. And I'm here to speak on behalf of not the defendant, the out-of-state company that came here and has invested millions in this community to try to upgrade a property that the prior corporate owner had let run down into a real poor state of disrepair. And contrary to the chief's comment, CT Hotels has not waited until today. I met with staff like 3 weeks ago to try to tell everybody what we'd been doing in terms of addressing the things that Mr. Champion was testifying about. First of all, I'm not going to stand before you like some attorneys who come up here and say, that's all a bunch of hogwash. Pretty much everything you've heard is true. And all we can do is give you our sincere apologies and tell you if you will give us a chance, we will invest further into this community in that property to try to bring it up to the standards where you're not going to have a criminal element staying there. Let's go to the name of the entity, and for whatever reason there was some confusion about the business license in the violation letter or the hearing letter, there was no need to come and get a second license. CT Hotels LLC is who had the license. They were a franchisee of Motel 6. They didn't really have to come and get another one just because they changed their DBA. I don't know where that even came from. And
Excuse me, I asked the question because I thought the testimony from Officer Champion was that the current license was for Best Nights.
yeah. Well, it's a new DBA. So they changed it just because it was a violation. They went in and got the name changed. But I want to talk a little bit about the code violations and the efforts that's been made to this point. You know, these folks come in here, spend several $1 million to acquire the property, and they immediately started working on upgrading the property. And I just want to tell you some of the things that they've done and what it's costing. They installed new laminated vinyl plank flooring in the rooms. By the way, there's no carpet for there to be sold. I don't know where that testimony came
No what?
No carpet. The lady from the health department testified that all the carpet was wet or whatever. There's no carpet. All the rooms are laminated flooring. They spent $133,596 to replace all the flooring. They painted the guest room interiors, cost $28,000. They had to put new lighting in the properties. They spent $28,000. They replaced, to the extent of $172,000, headboards, nightstands, desks, mirrors, wardrobe, micro fridge cabinets, bed platforms, $23,863 on new flat screen TVs with wall mounts, $15,693 on microwaves, a new guest Wi-Fi system, $21,000. They replaced faucets, $13,000. Replaced mattresses, $6,500. Replaced chairs, $12,000. Replaced draperies, $13,000. Top bed packages, all the covers, the bed covers and everything, $22,000. They had spent $6,000 on new windows. The PBX system for the telephones, $18,000. New hot water boilers, $32,000. New laundry equipment, $15,000. So it's not like they haven't done anything. So when Brian and Officer Champion and the rest of the folks came and they wrote them up, they started addressing more problems. They hired structural engineers. Now the pictures that you saw, the balconies up there that looked where you were seeing exposed wood and everything, those fascia boards were taken off by CT and their structural engineers so they could see what they needed to fix. This was a problem that they inherited, and they found out when these fascia boards were taken off that the prior owner, corporate Motel 6, had done some sort of patch and cover jobs, and some sheetrock was in there, and which they didn't know. But in order to do a structural study, the fascia boards had to be taken off. So those pictures that you saw those pictures were not like that on the first time they went out and looked in February. Those pictures were taken probably at the second visit. So they hired a structural engineer, hired an architect, spent the money to have the building inspected, spent the money to have the business, the plans done to make the balcony safer, and presented those plans to Mr. Junkin. They were approved. They were updated again last week. They entered into a contract with Bill Taylor Construction to do the phase 1 construction work on this balcony. And by the way, a lot of the other stuff like the cornice work and some downspouts and so on, that work needs to wait until the balcony is repaired, all right? So they've got a contract now for $160,000. The materials on site. They tried to get a building permit last week. They were allowed to get the permit today to begin that curative work on the balcony. That work is a 3-week process. After that work's done, the structural engineer and architect will come back out. And they will look and see what additional modifications need to be made to the plans to make sure that the balcony is safe for everybody that's there. So, in terms of what we're proposing is, first of all, we would like the opportunity to take care of the code problems. And in addition to that, to make the property look better in terms of exterior painting, which has been in the plans to work. They need to get new signage and apply for a new franchise with another franchisor, which they will. The swimming pool, by the way, has been drained for several months. They may or may not retain the swimming pool, depends on what the franchisor will want, whether the franchisor will want a pool there or not. There will be some significant personnel changes, and I don't really want to get into that because the existing employees have not been informed and don't want to get into that. But all I can say is there needs to be new employees, new management personnel, better training on how to try to identify people who might be a problem. I do want to note, and it may be insignificant, but I couldn't help but note that the calls this year are down. Not that 40 calls are insignificant from January to April, but compared to what was happening the prior year and the year prior to that, it's less. I just make a note of that. So, in addition, the other changes that are contemplated are improved lighting to try to improve just the security on the property. Probably I've been talking, or I talked to TPD about renting off-duty policemen. It's not cheap, $55 an hour, but it's well deserved. So probably be considering the use of TPD off-duties and third-party private security firms. And then I think I mentioned earlier, hopefully an affiliation with the new national franchise. But I can't really emphasize this. I think probably CT has been negligent in failing to understand what was going on here. CT is in New Jersey. And of course, they're not the only out-of-town owner. They had no clue that these police calls were happening. They had no clue that this criminal activity was happening. And the first time they really knew something was happening is when, and this wasn't even mentioned, I'll bring it up, one of the employees was arrested out there for selling drugs, and he was fired the next day. And that's sort of when the radar went off. So the CT does plan to do a better job with their management. So you're looking at an out-of-town company that once they do these repairs will have probably more than $3 million invested in this property. That's not chump change. We talk about economic development up here all the time. I'm not sure what kind of message you send out there for somebody that comes in and tries to rescue a property that's in really bad shape. The room rates were down to $30 a night when Motel 6 had it. They've more than doubled the rates. It's helped. And as they get another flag, franchise, and as they get these improvements made and a better management team, then they'll be in a position to charge a higher rate. And by the way, Councilman, the audit has been completed, and they are in compliance, per what I'm told from Mr. Patel. Mr. Prashant Patel's here with me. He's a representative of the company. But in order to expedite this, instead of coming up, having him come up and go through the testimony and all that, I just thought it would be much more efficient for everyone here for me to get up and speak on behalf of the owner. So we would ask that we be given this consideration. As you know, many people come before these courts here based on some type of criminal violation. They're arrested for whatever. They're convicted, but guess what? A lot of them get probation. Of course, in some states, they don't get anything, but at least here, they get convicted and they get probation. CT would ask for you to give CT probation, give them the opportunity, like council has given to other citizens or companies today to have their business tabled. We're not, obviously, it was made clear at pre-council there'd be no tabling, so we're having this hearing, right? And before I came up here, I just assumed it's a fait accompli that the license would be revoked. But I really think you need to think about what kind of message you're sending to out-of-town investors who come in and are spending significant money. Have they spent enough fast enough? Nope. Have they done a good job of curtailing crime? Nope. Have they been a real pain in the you-know-what for the police department? Yep. Do they want to do a better job? Yep. So on the behalf of CT and its employees, the current employees who are out there who are about to lose a job, we ask you to very seriously consider placing our license status on probation, give us an opportunity to get these code violations done, and let us see if we can make some improvement in terms of keeping down the crime. Thank you for your indulgence.
Any questions for Mr. Parsons?
Mr. Parsons, thank you so much for coming. I don't know what the entire council will do tonight.
Actually,
But
Matthew,
hold on. Let me finish.
Let me take this.
Hold on.
Let me take this one because this is my district.
Okay.
And it's hitting home for me. I appreciate you though. I think the message we're sending new developers is you won't come in our city and develop something or acquire something and leave it trashed or don't maintain it. Don't care about the crime, don't care about the kind of customers you have, don't care about the quality of business you represent or present to our city. So what we're telling them is you can't come and be a slumlord. You can't come and leave blight. You can't come and run a drug or traffic or crime ring in our city and you think you can run a business. We're not having it. And we're coming after those kind of owners. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and I appreciate your presentation. But with all due respect, all the hard work that the code inspectors, chief TPD, Shanae and Rhonda did on this deal, we're not gonna go back. I'm not gonna go back, and I'm asking the council to vote with me on revoking those licenses. Because if the message we send, if we let you keep your licenses, you can do anything in the city of Tuscaloosa. You can live any kind of way, you can run any kind of business, and we're gonna give you a spank on the hand and give you probation. Well, no, as somebody who didn't get probation, I ain't giving no probation today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take those licenses with the help of my council because I promised District 7 when I ran it, I was gonna clean up my district. And Masters Inn was the first one. And Motel 6 is up next. And it's not a vendetta against anybody. It's just because you were not proactive. You were reactive. And for that reason, we're going to take those licenses. And I appreciate you. And I hope y'all vote with me.
Anybody else?
Mr. Lear, well said. Mr. Parsons, in reading the notice of termination dated November 2nd, 2021. Confirm termination of Motel 6 franchise agreement as of November 8th, 2021. Everything that Mr. Lanier said today is that we're being reactive instead of being proactive.
Right.
And the unauthorized use quoted of the Motel 6 mark constitutes willful trademark infringement and dilution of our mark. There's a book entitled The 5-Star Hotel, and that book talks about culture. It talks about giving your best. And, you know, although, yes, Councilman Lanier, it's in your district, and I support what you say concerning your district. We want to make Tuscaloosa, whether you're in the east or the west or the south or the north, we want to start a culture. And that culture is you can't just come here and do any kind of thing, any kind of way to the constituents of Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons.
Thank you.
Okay,
Since it is a public hearing, would you
Yes.
call and ask if there's anybody that wanted to speak?
absolutely. And, well, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Is this a public hearing? Anybody like to speak for or against this revocation? Okay, that being, no one speak, to hear a motion to
Motion.
revoke.
Second.
Have a motion and second, voting with Counselor Lanier.
Yes.
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 License revoked. Clerk?
This approves items A through O on the consent agenda.
Move adoption.
Second.
Have a motion and second, vote with Counselor Wilson.
Yes.
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 Consent agenda approved. Public hearings.
This approves the ABC application for an on or off premises retail beer license at Chuck E. Cheese's 803 in Tuscaloosa.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Ms. Brown?
Good evening, council member. This is
Good
ABC license application 22-048A for retail beer on or off premises. This particular location is located in Midtown Development, same location as the previous owner had. And their application and all applicant reports in the file on the city clerk's desk. Officer Champion will give the police report concerning this particular application, followed by the applicant or their representative answering any questions you have.
Officer Champion?
Good evening, council. Okay, from June 14, 2021 to June 14, 2022, we had no incidents listed for this location. This will be our heat map for within a quarter mile. These are the top crimes we had listed within that quarter mile.
Did the applicant please come forward, state your name and address for the record?
Sorry. How y'all doing? I'm Christopher Lewis. I'm here on behalf of CEC. I'm a manager there. Basically, CEC Entertainment is LLC, currently owned and operated over 450 locations in the United States and Canada. Chuck E. Cheese is a family restaurant and entertainment experience specializing in birthday parties and I'm sorry.
We get it. You good.
We're not laughing at you, it's just the idea
get
that
it.
Chuck E. Cheese would have an alcohol.
We good. We good.
Well, it's like 2% of our revenue. Is not that much.
It's cool. Parents meet.
Yeah, it's mostly for for the parents that come and bring their kids, and we have a limit of 2 drinks per day, 1 per hour.
Yeah.
So it's nothing bad, it's just something to relax while you have the kids there.
How late
Thank
y'all,
you.
how late y'all open? Because I think I'm about ready to go to church.
Well, during the week, we close by 9, so it's.
We need to hurry then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we also serve beer and or wine, so that
Sounds
it's a
good.
choice.
So is this a change in business strategy for Chuck E. Cheese? Is this new to this?
They've got it now.
It's all the location. Most of the locations have it. I think it was just the change of ownership.
Vince,
to-
was this just change of ownership?
Yeah.
I think Mr. Garrison was on here when we gave it the first time, you know, and people said, you're going to hear it, I promise you. People say, why in the world are you giving alcohol to Chuck E. Cheese? But it is,
Chuck E. Cheese.
you can't discriminate.
All right.
Right.
The older you get, the more you understand.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, thank you. All right, is there a motion we approve?
so moved.
Second.
Have a motion second for the retail beer?
Mr.
gotta
Tyner,
have the
Mr.
heat
Tyner, I
map,
believe this is a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. Mr. Garrison, would you like to speak on? Okay. Anybody like to speak for or against alcohol license at Chuck E. Cheese? Okay. That being said, we have a motion for retail beer voting with Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Retail beer approved. Mr. Brown?
This approves the ABC application for an on or off premises retail table wine license at Chuck E. Cheese 803 in Tuscaloosa.
Have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
This is ABC license application 22-048B for retail table wine on or off premises. Same applicant, same location, same reports apply.
Voting with Councilor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. And Vincent, before you go, I know you don't like the limelight at all, and you don't appreciate probably me saying this, but I must say, in for the council meeting and all the TV cameras that are here tonight, we're going to miss you terribly. City of Tuscaloosa, I know I will miss you not only as a great employee, but a great friend, and wish you absolutely the very best. And thank you for 32 years.
Thanks, Vincent.
Thank you very much, council members. But I got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah?
I got one more on here.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, let's vote no, just to say no.
Doggone you, you got that rodeo still, don't you? I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. We'll get to hear you again.
His last rodeo.
All right, clerk.
This will grant tentative approval of Jerusalem Gardens, a planned unit development.
So moved.
Now, this is
Or
being
withdraw.
tabled,
We need to
correct?
withdraw.
It's withdrawn. I have a motion to withdraw.
Motion to
withdraw.
Moved and second.
Okay, voting with Councilor Lanier?
Yes.
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 And it has been withdrawn. Clerk?
This sets the cost for demolition of the structure at 2111 Fifth Street East and authorizes the filing of a lien.
Move adoption.
Second.
Have a motion second, vote with Councilor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will amend zoning amendment number 1474.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second, voting with Councilor Lanier?
Yes.
Oh, you don't think we need, okay, thank you.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
Mr. Tyner, I believe that's a public hearing as well. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's a public hearing.
I think we need about 5 minutes to take a recess. This is a public hearing. Anybody want to speak for or against? Okay, that being said, we've already voted. Okay. Clerk?
This amends zoning amendment
minutes
number
on here.
1475.
Move adoption.
Second.
Have motion second. This is a public hearing. Anybody like to speak for or against
believe this is
amendment
your
number
last one.
1474? Nope. Voting with Councilor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will approve the ABC application for a special events retail license less than 7 days for the 2022 Sokol Park Rodeo.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Now, one more time, Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir. This is ABC license 22-047 for a special events less than 7 days for the Sokol Park Rodeo. The applicant that's coming before you is a vendor well known to you. There's been numerous events like this throughout the last several years. Their application and all reports are in the file on City Clerk's desk. Officer Champion will give the police report concerning this application, followed by the applicant answering any questions you have.
Okay, Officer Champion.
Okay, for the listed address, we had no incidents listed within last year from June 14th, 2021 to June 14th, 2022. This is our heat map for within a quarter-mile radius. We had no instance reported within that quarter-mile radius.
Okay. This is not a public hearing. For the special events retail license, do we have a motion in the second?
Motion.
Okay, voting with Council Lanier?
Yes.
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 ABC application approved.
Thank you.
You good?
We all know you. You don't have to come. Thank you. Clerk?
This authorizes acquisition by condemnation proceedings for property acquisition, permanent easements, and access and temporary construction easements for the Western Riverwalk Improvements Project.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion second, voting with Councilor Wilson.
Oh, what is it?
Yes.
Do you vote?
No.
You say yes, you vote? Yep. Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize execution of an agreement with TCC Acquisition Partners for the Western Riverwalk.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second, voting with Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Clerk?
This authorizes the purchase of equipment, supplies, or services from Touchless Covers of Alabama.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, voting with Councilor Wilson.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize the purchase of equipment, supplies, or services from Train.
So moved.
Second.
Have motion second, voting with Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This authorizes 10-hour shifts for certain positions in the Tuscaloosa Police Department.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, voting with Councilor Wilson.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize the city's consolidated annual performance and evaluation report for program year 2021 and authorize the submission of the report to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, voting with Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This authorizes the advertising of a summary of the city's action plan for the 2022 Community Development Block Grant and the Home Investment Partnership Programs and other HUD grant programs.
Move adoption.
Second.
Motion second, vote with Councilor Wilson.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize execution of a letter for the Tuscaloosa Housing Authority in regards to compliance with 24 CFR Part 58.6 for the 2022 capital fund budget and rolling 5-year plan.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, vote with Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This authorizes an amendment and execution of the amendment to the city's agreement with Habitat for Humanity of Tuscaloosa Incorporated 2022 Home Funds for the Development of Affordable Housing.
Move adoption.
Have a
Second.
motion second, vote with Councilor Wilson.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize execution of a right-of-way permit to Night Signs Industries.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion second, vote with Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This amends the resolution setting a date for a public hearing on a proposed vocation of a proportion of 4th Street.
So moved.
Have
Second.
motion second. Voting with Councilor Wilson.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize a minor public works contract with American Fence Company.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, vote with Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This authorizes a contract with Cabell Incorporated Lawn and Landscaping Services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Voting with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize execution of Task Order Directive Number 5 with Garver for the Hilliard Fletcher Water Resource Recovery Facility Headworks Improvements Project.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Have a motion. We got lots of motions, lots of seconds. Voting with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This authorizes a contract for engineering and related services with TTL Incorporated for the Jack Warner Parking Lot Project.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Vote with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This authorizes a contract amendment with Tyler Technologies.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Voting with Counselor Lanier?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize a minor public works contract with Clark Memorial.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Voting with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This authorizes a primary service agreement and task order directive number 1 with William Blackstock Architects for the Fire Station number 11 project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Voting with Counselor Lanier?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize Amendment 8 to the fiscal year 2022 Water and Sewer Reserve for Future Improvements Fund budget.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Vote with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This authorizes Amendment 9 to the fiscal year 2022 General Fund Reserve for Future Improvements Fund budget.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. Vote with Counselor Lanier?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Ordinances and resolutions of general nature.
We've got
Oh.
one more.
No, we
We
got
got
one.
water and sewer service fees.
Here
Fund.
we
Clerk?
go.
Right.
The substitute for page 70 will authorize Amendment 5 to the Water and Sewer Service Fees Fund.
Motion?
Second.
Motion second. Vote with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Now, motion carries. Ordinances and resolutions of a general nature or permanent operation for introduction.
This amends Section 19273 of the Code of Tuscaloosa.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Vote with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion
Yes.
for unanimous
Yes.
consent.
Second.
Let's finish voting first. Okay, now we have a motion for unanimous consent.
It's second.
Is there a second? Voting with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will amend Sections 19-61C and 19-145 of the Code of Tuscaloosa.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Vote with Counselor Lanier?
Yes.
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 Do I have a call for unanimous consent?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Voting with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This reappoints members to the Historic Preservation Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Voting with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Do I hear a call for unanimous consent?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Unanimous consent. Voting with Counselor Lanier?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will appoint Brian Garrity as the city's representative to the Board of Trustees of the Firemen's and Policemen's Pension and Relief Fund.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. Vote with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Do you hear a call?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Unanimous consent. Voting with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This authorizes Amendment 3 to the fiscal year 2022 Water and Sewer Fund budget.
Move adoption.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Voting with Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Do you hear a call for unanimous consent?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Unanimous consent. Voting with Counselor Lanier?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Clerk?
This will authorize the issuance and make provision for the payment of the $39,590,000 General Obligation Warrant Series 2022A.
Do you hear a motion?
Motion.
Have a
Second.
motion second. I know 3 votes are required here, correct?
Correct.
Right? And first vote, Counselor Wilson?
Yes.
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 Hear a
Unanimous
motion
consent.
for unanimous consent.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, vote for Counselor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Unanimous consent approved. And one more vote. Hear a motion.
So moved.
Second.
And motion second, vote for Counselor Wilson.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. 3 votes. Clerk.
This will authorize the issuance and make provision for the payment of $35,255,000 general obligation warrant series 2022B.
You have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion second. This also requires 3 votes. Vote from Counselor Lanier.
Yes.
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 You hear a call for unanimous consent.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Motion second for unanimous consent. Vote from Counselor Wilson.
Yes.
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 And need one more motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, vote from Counselor Lanier.
Yes.
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 And it is approved. Congratulations, finance team and finance chair and Lee Garrison, Fraser Lanier, everybody. Just congratulate everybody. All right, this is for adoption.
This will set July 12th as the date for a hearing to consider approval of Habitat for Humanity West End, a planned unit development. Moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Vote from Counselor Wilson.
Yes.
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 And
Yes.
motion carries. Auditing accounts.
This authorizes the payment of bills.
Payment of bills.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill, please.
All right, we have a motion second. Vote from Counselor Wilson.
Yes.
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 And bills are paid. Citizens' comments and other communications. Any citizens who would like to address your city council? Mr. Brown.
Council members, this is my last council meeting before you. I want to thank you for your support throughout the years or months that you've served on the council. I hope that my service to the city and to my department was of some good to the citizens of this community.
Amen.
I gave you 32 years and a month or so, and I tried to do it as a servant. And I hope that I helped someone while I was here.
Thank you.
Well, you
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
I appreciate you, sir.
And before we go, Counselor Wilson, would you like to introduce your 2 guests today?
Oh, yes, sir. Today, I've had the privilege and the honor of having 2 young men to shadow me today, all day.
They probably never coming back.
And they they said that this has been a long day, and they were able to meet with some people, Caleb Wagner and Eric Wagner. They are 9th grade high school students from Francis Marion High School. So we're glad to have them in our city. And today they had the opportunity to meet with some staff. Hopefully they'll come back again to see
Shorter meeting.
Well, listen, young men, it's been great having you here. And
Absolutely.
You've done your city proud and very respectful. And I think your pastor now needs to take you to Chuck E. Cheese.
We are going.
I'll meet you there. First Supremes on that. All right, subject to the exercise of mayor's veto, or I almost had that, ordinance general nation, permanent operation, all applicable departments hereby order to otherwise implement council policy this date enacted. I hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion second to adjourn, voting with Councilor Lanier.
Yes.
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 Meeting adjourned.
Appreciate y'all. We got through.